Hi everyone. Today I'd like to show you a game that took place in 1851 between two players, Adolf Andersson and Felix Kieseritsky. Those were two very strong players at the time, and yes, a queen sacrifice was played in this game. So let's just get into it. Okay, White begins with e4, e5. We have the king's gambit on the board. Adolf Andersson played this opening a lot, so we have it in this game too. E captures on f4, bishop to c4, queen to h4 check, king moves to f1, b5, which this is a pretty odd move nowadays, but back then it was completely fine. Bishop captures on b5, knight to f6, knight to f3, queen moves back to h1 because it was attacked, knight to c3, bishop to c4, d6, bishop to c4, d6, d4, knight to h5, and this position has never been reached before in any other. And actually this is not that good of a move because there's much better ways to protect that f4 pawn. Like, it's much better if you play something like g5, but I guess black didn't like it because it is kind of trapping the queen a bit, and there's not a lot of breathing room for the queen, so he didn't like it. He decides to play knight to h5. White decides to go for knight to e2, which is fine, bringing more attackers to the black pawn. Bishop to e7, e5, attacking the bishop with d5, bishop to d3, castles, rook to g1, g5, which it was fine if you play g5 before you castle, but now that you have castled, it's weakening the king quite a bit. White plays king to e1, which is not the best move. It's a bit slow. A better move would have been to play g4, because at this point you have to move the knight somewhere, or it would have been bad if you moved the knight somewhere. So you have to you don't have to move the knight somewhere. It's better for you to en passant capture the pawn. So then we'd have got captures by black, rook captures on g3, and this position is much better for white. So white could have directly taken advantage of this, but he decided to go to e1. Okay, next we have f6, g3, captures, and no captures. Bishop to g4. How could I forget that? And in this position, it seems like the knight is pinned to the queen, but it's really not, because at this position what white played was knight captures on g5, completely disregarding that the queen is hanging. Black of course accepts the queen, and white plays f5 here. This is actually not a good move. There's a much better variation here, but white missed it. The variation was actually e6. But before I show you that, let me show you why this is a bad move. White probably played this move thinking that the black queen is trapped, and the black queen is trapped, but white had a pretty good move that equalizes the game immediately, and that move is bishop to b4 check. White has to block while attacking the bishop, and now queen can go to g6, but now the best move is white h6 check. Queen has to capture, and now when this knight moves to e6, this is a discovered attack on the queen. I'll just draw an arrow. There's also a discovered attack on the king from the rook, so everything is hanging at this point. White has to give up the queen. Captures, attacking the knight, attacking the rook, moving away the bishop, attacking the other rook, attacking the knight, capturing the free rook, attacking the knight, and now this knight is trapped, so you have to give it away. Captures, And in this position where the material is completely equal, but there is an imbalance because black has 2 knights for a rook and a pawn. It's pretty much equal. You can't tell who's winning. Both sides has chances. But black didn't find this. He just decides to capture the knight. But now you can capture the queen with check, which is very important because now you have to move. You're wasting move moving the king. So now you can just capture everything. Then you reach this position. This is what happened in the game. Now going back to the game, do you remember me telling you that this was a mistake and there's a much better move? Let's see what will happen if you play the much better move. Now the reason this is a much better move is because, like I said, it's opening so many lines, and black is basically lost over here, because after you play knight to f4 because the queen is trapped, you go check with while attacking the queen. King moves out of the way, captures, queen moves away, and then you reach this position where the black king is gonna get checkmated. There's not much he can do, and black is gonna have to eventually give up his queen, because all white has at this point is a bishop and a knight for a queen. We can do some more captures. This is what is basically gonna happen, but the black king is so weak that white's just much better over here. Or you could even capture the queen over here. Instead of capturing the knight, you could even capture the queen over here. But that's kind of like taking the purpose out of it, because it's supposed to be a sacrifice, and yeah. But let's just get back to the game at this point. Yes, this is what happened, and white does have a slight advantage, but it's still not unclear. It's still anybody's game. So black plays on. They keep shuffling pieces. Check, check. White king moves away. Black takes the king on a nice king hunt. King reaches all the way up to a6. The rook sacrifices itself to try and get a mate. But white has this very nice pass pawn, which he will try to push as much as he can. At this point, it looks like the knight has forked the pawn and the rook, but you can just push the pawn, and now if you capture the rook, you can white just gets a queen, so that's no good. So, and now white goes for a very tricky move, knight to e6, and this is kind of like a gamble, because if white gets too excited and he decides to promote to a queen, this is just checkmate. It's very sad, but it's just checkmate. But white's smarter than that, and he saw it, and he goes for the best move, which is rook captures knight, king captures, and now you promote with check. And this is where black resigns, because there's nothing for black to do, because you have to move your king, and then after you move your king, you just capture the knight, and this is just checkmate into whatever white does, whatever black does. You move the king, just check, move, and mate. So that was the game. It's a very interesting game. So thank you for watching. Bye.